just talk through the maximum capacity. Every student, every adult, whether you're getting on the bus or you're walking into the school, we're going to take your temperature, and this is common for everybody. If it's 100.4 or higher, you can't get on the bus, you can't come into the school. We're not bringing you into our ecosystem from that standpoint, and we'll have processes in place on how to deal with that, but we want to ensure that we're not letting anybody that could be infectious coming in. That's recommended by the CDC. Everything from a cleaning standpoint, constantly, or whether you read it on the CDC website, whether you talk to the local purchase area of the health department, it's EPA approved disinfectants for COVID-19, and so we've already started processing what that is, how we can look at, you have a chemical to clean with. Let me put this up here close. You have a chemical to clean with, but sometimes you have the great value of that. And so how we read that code system on the chemical to ensure that that's a substitute for what we're using it for. So that's a process we're going through. We'll train our custodians on how to do this again, and we'll bring professionals in to do that. But a big emphasis on training there on the front end. Obviously, frequent hand washing and readily access to hand sanitizer is going to be a part of this. And then I do want to address this for our parents and our children and our employees. There's a lot of what ifs in there. And this is probably not the best way to say this in public, but there's a lot of what ifs. And the way I've answered that to the site-based councils is, there's been once, maybe twice, that we've had a threat on social media. And I hate to say that, but I think that happens in every school across the United States now. And so what we do in those situations, I tell the principals, don't call me. Call the Paducah Police Department. Didn't call me. We call them first. And we don't make decisions to go back to school if that's a viable threat as determined by the Paducah Police Department, unless they tell us we're safe to go back to school. We educate children, and we're going to follow these guidelines. But when we get into the what-if scenarios, we're going to pick up the phone and call the epidemiologist and say, give us your guidance, because you know this much better. You're trained to do this. Give us your guidance on what we need to do and how we need to execute this. We have to trust our professionals and our local professionals with that. And so that's the analogy I've been using with that. Important dates and just some questions. We're going to have a polished version of the reopening guidance out by Wednesday, July 22nd. We're going to send a survey home through Kinvo to parents to complete, outlining their decisions regarding their choice for in-home learning from Paducah Public Schools or at-school learning from Paducah Public Schools. For that, we would like to have that answer by, that's the next to last bullet, on July 28th, because we've got a lot of planning to do. And when we start looking at peeling off 20% of our kids every day, and which kids are going to choose online learning, that's probably not going to be equally distributed. And so there could be some class adjustments and changing. Even though we've got the student schedules ready to go, we've got to get that done. Also, for planning purposes, if you commit to this, we're asking you to commit to it for the first semester, that we're going to be here because we can't go in and out and in and out. We've already been talking to site-based councils about, we need to have online office hours, just like we do in college. For professors, they have office hours. Come in here, I'll be in here for 2 hours if you need help. We need to have that online, and we need to have it for our parents that are have kids at home that are doing at-home instruction at 6 and 7 and 8 o'clock at night if they're getting off work and they're running into problems. And I'll be blunt, as you know, I've got three children. I'm a father in this conversation. 3 children in this district, all 3 at different levels. I was a math minor, and I hated geometry. And so when I think about the geometry I had in 7th and 8th grade, and I see my 4th and 5th graders last year doing it, there's things that we've got to have there just to ask questions to brush up on. And so even if you're at school, it's an opportunity for us to have a different, not just after school tutoring, but online, at night, video conferencing. We can work a problem or 2 or 3 for you. We can explain the concept, but also having our lesson state. If you're a student that needs to go back and review it, you can do that. You can pause it. You can write notes down and go on. You can back it up and listen to it again. And so from the delivery part of that, as we do this and build this out, I'm going to tell you what we're going to, it's going to be tough. And we're asking a lot of our teachers. I guarantee you that they work hard every day. There's going to be some hard work doing this. But with that, what we're going to come out with, the product on how we mitigate this virus and learn in public education, there's a huge opportunity that we're not going to miss on how to better deliver and how better to support, better deliver instruction and how better to support our students and our families in this community. And so with that, it's been a challenge, but there's a huge opportunity, and I don't want people to miss out on that. And so I'm encouraged by my conversations with Dr. LeBoon and his role as infectious disease control doctor. This is doable. We can get this done. We can ensure our kids. We can't get to zero risk. I don't think anywhere you can get to zero risk, but we can do everything we can to ensure we're mitigating everything so we can get normalcy back as coming back to school for the maximum number of our children every day so that we can learn better than we would if we were at home learning like we ended up honestly last year. And so with that, there is a questions that can be submitted. We'll publish this tonight, I think. Wayne Walden, I think that's where we're getting it out, but it's questions at paducah.kyschools.us. Again, questions at paducah.kyschools.us. And so with that, we anticipate looking at those, answering those common answer questions. Some of that will probably be typed out. Some of it will be, we anticipate being, video answers, so we can get in depth and explain some stuff as those questions come, because this is new. It's new to our students. Go back to that. It's new to our students. It's new to our parents, their guardians, our teachers, instructional assistants, etc. And so we want to make sure we're answering all the questions to mitigate any false impression or any fear that might be out there.